Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and thanks again for visiting. Today I'd like to share with you my latest project, which I call ShopBirdy.ai. ShopBirdy.ai, the tagline here is your personalized shopping companion that learns what you love. Join our community of smart shoppers and unlock exclusive rewards. So what I wanted to do with this project is I wanted to explore AI, but I wanted to get more like hands-on with it. So essentially what I've done here is I've done a few different things. I've trained a dedicated model specifically for this task of product search and discovery. So I'll show you what that looks like. I've also integrated a global LLM as well, so we can chat with the global LLM. It can answer questions, Q&A, that kind of thing. So we can still use the state-of-the-art large language models in this use case as well. But I wanted to also really understand kind of end-to-end what it is to do the post-training of a machine learning model or of an AI model. So the other thing I've done is I've also integrated image-based search. All of this is to essentially demonstrate how you can utilize a lot of the same ML AI technologies that the big technology companies leverage themselves. At this point, we've got probably like a good 10 years of quality research and open source technology out there that we can start putting together and really build something that resembles something like an eBay and Amazon, a Facebook Meta, or even like a TikTok. So let's get into it a little bit. So this is okay, what's the goal with ShopBirdy? Well, first I wanted to put together some practical use cases in kind of a hypothetical setting. At the same time, I think it'd be very cool, a very interesting thing to have like a next generation shopping engine. It's not an e-commerce store in the sense that, ShopBirdy doesn't hold in any of the inventory. It's not going to process the transactions. It won't send you the products to your address, and it's not going to do some of the customer service things like refunds and returns. But what I think it can do is provide a really awesome discovery shopping experience. And just to kind of show you the compare and contrast of what a traditional e-commerce website might look like, most of the time you are having to do a lot of the keyword searching and like drilling down by yourself. So it's not going to be able to really anticipate what you want. It's a lot of the traditional e-commerce websites out there don't offer personalization very much. Maybe unless you're like logged in and you have an account and maybe like a transaction history. But just doing some like personalization and recommendation stuff, most of the e-commerce companies out there, most of the e-commerce websites out there don't really do that. And when I say most, I mean like not the biggest of the e-commerce companies. The big tech companies, they have lots of engineers and lots of product managers and they have all the functions, and they can obviously they have huge data sets. They can really do really cool things. But if you are any like, if you're just a mid-tier or large tier retailer, for example, or even just like a small like e-commerce seller, you probably don't have access to those same tools and technologies that the big tech companies do. And what this ends up meaning is that you're probably leaving a lot of money on the table because, customers these days, their expectations have been shaped so much by the products and services that they use, on a daily basis. Like, you think about social media, right? Like Instagram, Facebook, and of course TikTok. TikTok, it doesn't even really, I mean, the search function is there, but it's pretty much just delivering you content, and it's adapting itself as you browse. And it's making all kinds of like it's trying to infer a lot of who it thinks you are. Especially if you're a first time user, it doesn't quite have a lot of rich data about you. And TikTok also is not really much of a social graph in that sense. I personally don't use TikTok. I signed up for an account like a few years back. I thought maybe I'll just look at it, maybe think about doing it as like a brand account possibly. But I know these days a lot of startups, a lot of entrepreneurs, they leverage TikTok to basically get distribution because there's so many people on TikTok. And I think what another key part about TikTok that a lot of companies are probably not aware of unless you're really using it is like they have TikTok Shop now. And TikTok Shop is probably one of the fastest growing sort of e-commerce platforms, almost sort of like under the radar in a sense. But it's now becoming not just a place where you like kind of get entertained and just like watch videos of like dancing and cooking recipes and that kind of thing, but it also is now starting to sell products, through this online marketplace with TikTok Shop. And I think that's something that companies should probably be aware of, because whether or not you choose to list your products on TikTok, your customers are likely to be there, and their expectations of around products and digital services are being shaped by the apps that they use. And so if you're really having more of this sort of like still Web 2.0 kind of experience that's not quite personalized, it's very database intensive. It that I think is kind of missing. You might be missing the boat a little bit in terms of being able to anticipate your customers' demands or their needs, and push them content or suggest content for them real time using these kind of data flywheels and this machine learning and algorithms. So this is an example I'm just kind of sharing with you as an example of what a traditional kind of e-commerce experience is like. Maybe you search for products. You have to be very specific with your keywords because it's not going to take like open-ended questions or like natural language. Many of them won't. Unless the user knows exactly what they're looking for, you might end up with like a lot of empty results, or just like no products found in this category, that kind of thing. And so that's going to lead to higher bounce rate. It's going to lead to customers just sort of like looking elsewhere to find their products. So in order to kind of like address that, I think what we can do is we can bring in some of these new, more advanced technologies with generative AI, machine learning, and other forms of personalization and product recommendations. So behind the scenes of ShopBirdy is a few different custom models that I've actually post-trained. So I've been able to take data sets of like e-commerce products, like product catalogs. So in ShopBirdy right now has like, upwards of 10,000 unique products in the model, not in the database. In fact, that's actually an interesting thing. And you'll probably hear me talk a little bit about this sort of idea of will models replace databases or not. And I don't think that's going to be totally the case, but I do think that AI and these new models and these new architectures will start to take some of the workload off of the more traditional kind of like monolithic web architectures that are costly. They're expensive to maintain. They're not very personalized. There's not much intelligence behind them. And I think also, with like ChatGPT, for example, being one of the most popular apps in the world, and then TikTok also, and then of course the Meta family of apps, YouTube, all of these, and of course in the US you've got Amazon. All of these products are shaping customer expectation, and I think it's going to become more difficult for the other sort of large mid-tier and smaller online stores to kind of keep up with customer expectations. But the good news is that with open source and AI, we can actually address a lot of that and provide much richer experiences to shoppers. So let's take, for example, the TikTok example. The TikTok example. So what does TikTok do? TikTok it doesn't even really have a homepage. In fact, homepage is mostly like a For You page, and that's instant feed of products, right? And it's almost like this infinite scroll. So if you are like coming to the app for the first time, and maybe you just fill in the bare minimum details, behind the scenes, TikTok is already making some inference about sort of who it thinks you are. It's kind of trying to categorize you, and every action that the user is taking, whether they linger on a video, whether they dig into the video, they like videos, all of those kind of click stream actions are like updating their recommendation algorithm in real time. And even before that, it can already anticipate and kind of build a persona about you based on information like your device type, your browser, or your location, the time of day. All of these things can influence these algorithms to kind of anticipate what you're looking for, or what might be interesting to you at certain times of the day. So, like for example, you can see here I've got this personalization, very lightweight personalization, but it can help me to like infer about the user, even if they're not even logged in, and help me to kind of anticipate and personalize the experience for them. And the other thing is, like, this is basically like on autopilot, in the sense whereby you as the user don't even really have to do any manual searching at all. It's purely a discovery feed. And you'll have to excuse I've got a few pending fixes for some bugs in here. So one of them is I've got an issue with the cache system on this, whereby it's duplicating some of the results here. So you might see some of the same results. I'm going to fix that. But the idea is that, like, we've got this infinite scroll, and then this can actually adapt quite well to mobile users. If you're just like using a mobile device and you just want to, like, scroll, swipe, shop, basically. So with this, we've got the typical things you would expect in an e-commerce store. So you got your reviews. You can add things to your favorites, and so forth. Add it to your cart. Do the whole checkout flows and all that. The other thing is, as you can see in this this sort of object here, this card component, this is an example of how I've used the personalization to present a targeted offer here. In this case, since it knows that I'm on desktop, it's giving me tips on how I can use the desktop mode of this app, right? So that's an example of how it can personalize itself. And as I'm scrolling through things, when I open certain objects, when I add things to my favorites, when I like things and so forth, so it's detecting the browser that I'm using. I just wanted to kind of share this to kind of help, provide some more explanation around how these algorithms work, because a lot of times people look at them as these black boxes. They don't quite know how to control them. How is it making its decisions? And in fact, it's actually, you can actually build in a lot of guardrails, and you can steer it, and you can, like, really optimize it to like provide a really great customer experience. So those are just simple things, like, if you are if you're offering products for like to eat, for example, maybe you have like an online food ordering website. You would want to look at the time of the day, and then like automatically kind of suggest breakfast items, lunch items, dinner items, for example. Or you might look at someone's location and maybe find restaurants near them, for example. So those are just like simple things you could do. But this is an example of how you could basically just put this on autopilot and just keep scrolling and go through products, and it would try to anticipate what's the next set of products it should show you, and it kind of branching around, like taking different branches of like the search tree, and kind of helping zero in on what exactly that you want. So that's an algorithmic personalized feed. All right. The other thing I'd want to share with you is what else we can do is the other thing that a lot of these like social media websites do, especially TikTok, for example, is that they're also using the imagery of the videos and photos. They can kind of like turn that image into a data object, and then it can find similar images. So that's why when you know, it, you know, even if the video you're looking at or the piece of content you're looking at doesn't have a lot of description in it, or even like tags or hashtags or much of other data around it, just on the imagery itself, you can find similar things. So like, let's take this for example. So in this example, right, we'll look at this piece of storage box, and then I'll do an image search on that. So what I'm doing here is I'm just clicking that QR code, and yeah, just ignore this image failed to load thing. But actually, when I open it, so you can see that these are just tons of different versions based on the image itself of that initial product that I was looking at. So these are just other versions of kind of like these clear boxes, and I can speak a little bit of Thai, but I can't read or write it. I can't read or write Thai. So like, if I wanted to know what this actually says, like for example, like what is that description of, I could like ask my chatbot. So let's just copy that, and then I'll just ask the chatbot, like here, like please translate this to English, and then paste that in there. And chatbot says that's a medium-sized drawer box for organizing cosmetics. Here are the dimensions. So that's pretty cool. So the chatbot can do those multilingual translations. I've also added a bunch of data and metadata around each of these objects in both Thai and English. So whichever language you choose to search for these products, behind the scenes, the system is actually going to be able to match it. So if you search in Thai, it can search that products. It can search for products in both Thai and in English automatically. You don't even have to specify it. So there might be some products or some pieces of content that are only in Thai. Then there might be other cases where they're in English, and this system can handle both, which is pretty cool. Other thing that I wanted to share here is right now in the AI world, you see a lot around deep research and agents. And so in this example, what I want to share with you is kind of like how you can, so imagine you have like a personal shopper, and you just want to give the personal shopper, plain language, you want to share like, this is what I'm looking for. Here are some of the considerations, like here's my budget perhaps, or these are the things, like here's the problem I'm trying to solve, for example. What can you suggest, or what do you recommend? So the agentic search and deep search, essentially what that's doing, it's processing dozens and dozens and dozens of searches in parallel. So what's happening behind the scenes is that it's taking in your initial like prompt. Can you recommend cleaning supplies for hardwood floors and marble countertops, right? So if you were to search those keywords in traditional search box in like maybe like a legacy e-commerce system that didn't have semantic search, you might not get any results for that, because there's just too many words. You have to like narrow it down to just a few keywords, or just maybe even one word, to get some results. But in this case, I can be more general. I can be more broad or more specific. And what's happening behind the scenes is that it's going deep into all of the product catalog, and it's looking for not just exactly what you're searching for, but other things that might be complementary or similar, or could somehow be related to it in a way. Or maybe like people also bought products like as well. So sometimes you'll see like other suggested products, like someone bought product A, and also like commonly they'll also buy product B. So somehow maybe those two things can go together. So that's a way to kind of upsell, or to maybe provide a way for customers to quickly find complementary items, for example. So this agentic search went deep into the model and looked across all kinds of different keywords and semantic search, and in multiple language. It found dozens and dozens of results. And I searched for like hardwood flooring. I had a hardwood floor that and I need cleaning items that can work for that. I also have marble countertops, and so that's specific because you want to be able to, especially if you're dealing with like certain materials, right? You want to make sure that you are using the proper cleaning tools for that, and like the right, if you're using like certain brushes and surfaces, or even like chemicals, you want to just like make sure that's all like that works well together. So it's gone ahead and done this deep search, and yeah, they might have some duplicate results, but I think it did a pretty good job. And then so that's from my model, and then but it's also integrated with the with like a large language model, like a ChatGPT or a Gemini or Anthropic, or like a DeepSeek, for example, any of the other ones. And then what it's doing, it's then going through all of the, so it's finding tons of interesting products out of thousands, bringing them together, anything that might be related, that might be like interesting, that's similar semantically, or even like things that are like perfect matches. And then I'm asking the sort of another agent to come in and give me like, now after you review all of that and you understand my initial kind of request, give me like your top 4, like the foremost like relevant or the best product recommendations, right? So it's kind of like I'm helping you go into like the superstore, and then I'm guiding you to like the right aisle, and then I'm even going into like and helping you pinpoint exactly the products that it might work great for you. So so like here's this Villetta super soft mop for effective cleaning design. It's saying like you've got this Dew Clean general floor cleaner, for example, can work for hardwood and marble. So that's pretty cool. You can actually use this agentic search. So it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you, and it's really trying to find really relevant products. So that's the idea behind agentic and like deep search. So that's an example of that. We talked about the kind of just the feed-based approach where you don't even have to do the search. The system is automatically going to start trying to like anticipate or just present you with items, and maybe you don't even know what you want yet. Maybe you just want to like see what's there, and let's say you're just like you're like you've got a few minutes, you're in between meetings, for example, or you're waiting for your ride, and you just want to scroll and see certain things. You could do that as well. I might have to refresh the feed thing. Like I said, there's a few little bugs in here, but we'll get those ironed out. And so maybe you don't even have like 2 hands to like key in anything. You just want to scroll. And so that's what this kind of solution. So this is kind of like a TikTok feed, an Instagram, maybe like a YouTube Shorts type thing. And then like in terms of like if you just wanted to search things visually, you're like, okay, that looks interesting. Can you show me other things that look like that, right? And so like let's take this piece of container, and then like we've got very similar ones. Maybe they're just different sizes of the same product. Maybe they're alternative brands. These are other round kind of things. So it's a little hit and miss. Like some things are better than others, but you can tweak and tune this, and I think generally it does a pretty good job. So let's take this one for example. Wardrobe with hanging rails and shelves. What does that look like? Okay, so it's this thing where you can hang some of your clothes or your shelves. Okay, that's the same one, similar. And that's doing a search that's purely visual. So it's in this example, it's not searching for keywords or other like semantic search. It's only looking at the image. So the image has actually been processed and encoded, and each like pixel and point like creates a shape. and then you store all those shapes, and you find similar shapes. And that's kind of like why when you look at like certain videos on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you start seeing like other of the same thing. So like if you look at a video of like a pizza, or like a football or something, you'll start to see those same things, and then you'll start to see like similar things, and then you could end up getting in the in sort of a bubble, because that's maybe all you see. And sometimes the algorithms try to like periodically introduce different things just to kind of mix it up a little bit, and then maybe you'll start looking at other things as well. So that's visual search. And all of this is I think it's a huge improvement over what you might normally expect from these like e-commerce like online shops. And the thing is that I'm noticing more and more is that a lot of times that these brands do have their own like .com or their own like online like store, but they don't really like maintain it that much. And a lot of times most of the sales get the big marketplaces end up serving those customers and distributing these products for on behalf of these brands, because the brands maybe don't have the resources, or they don't have the customer relationships, or maybe like the marketplace can offer more deals or coupons, or maybe it's just like the customer already has a cart on file there, for example, so the checkout process is more seamless. So there's like, I think there's significant like potential like margin or money just being left on the table for companies. And the good news is that we can actually significantly improve the shopping experience. So my goal for this is like, I think there's two parts. One is, or maybe three parts. One is just kind of explaining some of the technology behind it, and then kind of drawing some comparisons to other popular apps and social media websites that you might find out there. And then like also like kind of demystify some of how these machine learning and Gen AI work, and what's machine learning, what's Gen AI, what's like vision based search, what's text based search, what's like a chat bot, what's like deep research, like, so let's say like wine glasses, right? So I can enable deep research right in my chat bot as well. So it's doing deep search. And it's the same thing as this this page that you see here, but it can also be delivered through the chat. So I searched for wine glasses, right? And so you can see I've got pages and pages of these. And again, some things are just like kitchenware, or like things you put on a table. So there might be like some other items in there. And there's some re-ranking you can do, and then there's like some fine-tuning you can do as well. But it pulled up a bunch of glasses in here, so I think it did a relatively good job. And we can always make this we can make this better as well. So in this case, I didn't even really know what I was searching there, because I think I as I said, I can't read Thai. I can speak Thai a little bit, but I can't read or write it, so I do need to rely on my agent, my chat bot, to help me with those translations. So you've got deep research, you've got agentic workflows, you've got like personalized feed, and sort of autopilot recommendations, and sort of like infinite scroll type deals. And then you've got like visual search as well, right? So you can put all these together, and you can deliver, I think, a really cool experience for your customers. So that's just the demo. I think, like, long term, I think it would be cool if this ShopBirdy could actually become a destination website, right? So we've got, let's say hundreds of users that were kind enough to sign up and join Boltfolio. Maybe there's a way to like invite those users to also come and join ShopBirdy as well. And it would be great if we can actually get users to help us, to become contributors to this website, and maybe we can find a way to like incentivize people, or like kind of like reward them somehow, because all this information helps to make the model better, right? So like if you can help with like tagging, labeling, ranking, that's kind of the reinforcement learning with human feedback. And I think it's also kind of fun to like discover products as well, and maybe just help make the model better. And so I'd be curious to see if there's a way to kind of bring people on board into like this AI world, maybe as like a data labeler, or like a AI, maybe even like AI trainers as well, right? So I think that'd be cool. And then if we can get other companies to also like share their products and want to list their products on this portal or on this like a discovery platform, then that would just make it even better, because then we have even more products to search for, and it wouldn't overwhelm the system, because this is running very efficiently. That's, I think, the benefit of the AI driven, ML driven products, is because it's essentially like, this is maybe a very simplistic example, right? But like, think about when you're on your phone or you're on your computer, you can like copy and paste like a huge chunk of text, and like you could like copy a bunch of text and then paste it immediately, and it's almost instant, right? Or you could like copy a huge like a video file or something and like paste it onto your desktop, and it happens almost instantly, because that's like in memory, and that's how the MLs and AIs work a lot of times if you're running your own models locally. Whereas when you're doing things like for database lookups, it's kind of like more like downloading a file, right? So like imagine if you had to like instead of copy and paste that document, let's say you had to upload it and then download it, right? Or like email it to yourself. Like that wouldn't take that much longer, but it's definitely like, compared to how fast you can copy and paste something, it's copy and pasting is way faster, because it's got all that data stored in the memory, and that's exactly how these ML systems work. That's how it can search for thousands and thousands of products across so many different vectors, because it's all running in the memory system. And so if you have like high bandwidth memory, and you have really optimized models with running on like lightweight systems, or you have like compute behind it, high bandwidth memory, or like high performance GPUs, or even like beefed up CPUs with like neural engines, or that are designed for these new ML workloads, you can do pretty cool things. So like, the other thing that I think is interesting about this is like, all this happens almost instantly, and there's no database behind this. So I don't have to worry about like the database locking up. Most times databases are, for the most part, they're 80% of the workload they're doing is on reads. Reads are like just displaying data. Writes are when you're like saving data or like editing data, right? So there's like reads, writes, there's like updates, and there's deleting data. But like the majority of the work that a database does is just serving read requests. So if I were to want to look for 120 items at once on a database, it could probably do that, but like, that's difficult to scale across lots of customers at the same time, right? And then if there might be an issue of like, what if you're writing to that file or updating it at the same time someone's trying to read from it, and you could have like data lock issues, and it's just, there's lots of overhead in maintaining database. I think I'm now more in the camp of keeping databases more lightweight, so using it for like transactional data, or like user data, like their authentication information, your CRM, maybe your maybe like pricing that has to be updated. But for things that don't change much, that's a perfect case for training a model, right? Like let's say, for example, like maybe fast fashion is a little bit more difficult to do. I mean, you could definitely do it. You'd have to orchestrate like frequent model trainings and model updates. But like for products that stay in the market or stay on the shelves, and then their specs don't change much, like their product descriptions, that's a perfect case for these ML workloads. So like, think about washing machines, refrigerators, right? Like there's not a new version of like a Samsung like washing machine coming out like every day or every week, right? It's like there's a big model, and then or like a yeah, like a SKU, and then that's going to be on the store shelves or the showroom the showroom floor, for example, for months, right? And cars are another example, right? Like once there's a new Lexus or a new Toyota, that's like for that year, right? And so like that's a perfect case that you might want to just like use a model rather than have to store all this information in databases. And then you can streamline your application and it'll load much faster. And then you don't have to worry about doing a lot of like text to SQL and trying to like do all these operations, because databases, they can do like some kind of like joins and searches and stuff, and like like merging different like tables and stuff, but sorting, but it's not really optimal to do that, right? And databases can, they're temperamental. Like you have to keep like, most people don't really want to like mess with databases too much, because like, gosh, what if you lose all the data, or like there's an issue you have to restore and you lost all this data, and it's like it can be like it can give you some anxiety trying to like make sure your database is like like always like backed up and everything. So I think as much as we can, we should just embed all of that into a model. The model doesn't change. It can't be like deleted, or like you don't update, like you don't like make changes to the model frequently, like individually. Like you might do a new training run, maybe like every week, or every few weeks or a few months or whatever, and then you could supplement the model data with other more real-time data if you need like very fresh data that the model wouldn't have. But I think like for the most part, like you just like train the model with this data. You know what it is. Like this is a high quality nylon brush for cleaning floors and walls effectively, right? Like that's not going to change that much. But maybe the things that will change are like, is it in stock or not? How many items do you have in stock? Maybe the price changes. Maybe there's a promotion. For those kinds of things, then yeah, you might have like a layer for like more transactional or data that would update. But to retrieve these results, and be able to like do all the similarity and semantic search across the different vectors, I think yeah, having a vector database or having a model is a great way to go. And I think that's what all of the big tech companies do anyways, right? So that's the more modern sort of the state of the art approach to these kinds of things. So I think this could be very cool. Like let's imagine that ShopBirdy could become like not just an example of what you can do with these tools, but maybe like a vibrant community, and maybe like a destination for people to like discover things. And then like you come to Thailand, or wherever a ShopBirdy goes, we can add catalogs. We can work with the brands, the manufacturers behind the products, and like we can help to surface these products for customers, right, in a way that the customers are used to browsing, right, scrolling and swiping and shopping in the way that they're used to these days, right? So yeah, maybe this is a little bit targeting more like Gen Z or millennials, but also it's just kind of staying up to date with where technology is these days, and it's not overly complicated, right? Like this can definitely be done, and I think there's an opportunity for companies to start embracing these workloads and these technologies, right? And yes, the generative AI is very cool, and we want to use a lot of it as much as we can, but there's going to be cases where the Gen AI may not be available. It might be offline for whatever reason, or you want to like do some of the tasks locally and not have to call an external service every time, because every time you're doing those calls, I mean, those have costs, right? But if you have your own model that can do like the workhorse stuff, and you can have your own image-based search, right? Like you can have your own recommendation systems. You can have your own um, um, you could have your own personalized feeds, for example. I think that'd be a very, very cool experience. So this is just where I'm at right now with this the current version of this product. I'm gonna keep developing on this, and we're gonna hope to bring in like other people to like join us with this, right? Like maybe you are a brand, you're an e-commerce company, or maybe you have products for sale. Maybe you're selling them on other online marketplaces, and maybe your own website is like not as good as it could be. Well, maybe you can use our technology as well, right? We can provide this technology, and deploy it on your own website if that's what you want. Or we have just this one place where the ShopBirdy and all the agents behind it can go off, do tasks. And I think the cool thing about it is like it's a personalized shopping companion that learns what you love. I think that's a key part, right? Because like the more I can understand like what I'm into, like what I'm excited about, and just kind of do that like automatically. Like I don't want to have to always constantly like be like doing a lot of the manual work myself, like keying in things and filling out things. And then I feel like I'm doing a lot of work, and I just want to like maybe put it on cruise control a little bit, and maybe just through let's say I engage with the platform. Through that engagement, there's a feedback loop there, and it's learning, and it's personalizing itself to me. And I think that would be great, because I think it's really delightful when I load, like, let's say YouTube, and all the recommendations are just like perfect. It's like awesome. I've just got like 4 or 5 videos that I can now watch over the weekend. Add that to my playlist. I'm gonna look forward to watching that. Like very, very relevant suggestions. Very, very cool. Like, and also like YouTube has also kind of figured out some other patterns. Like sometimes maybe I like to listen to music in certain cases. Like, like maybe it's like, or in the mornings, maybe there's like more news items. So it's like, it's using the time of day as well, which I think is pretty cool. And then sometimes it'll like recommend things that I've saved on my playlist that I haven't watched yet. And then other times it will suggest like a new channel I haven't checked out yet. So it starts to be really, really fun. And I end up, through my engagement, help make the algorithm better for me. And I think now when I use YouTube, or any of these other like social media companies, when I use that, I'm using like a personalized, customized version for me. It's almost like a personalized software, a personalized platform for me. My experience with a, like, let's say YouTube, or your experience with TikTok or Amazon, that page you see is going to be very unique to you, right? It's not just a one size fits all, like some of these other more like traditional platforms are. And that's what I think is like the exciting potential about delivering a really delightful experience to customers, and using like responsible algorithm design, and asking like customers or users to like participate, and like let's make this better for us, because like I mean, we want to also benefit from it somehow as well. So like if we put in some of the effort, or like if we help to do user generated content, or we help with like training the AI or generating data, that I think could be an interesting way to like maybe unlock rewards, coupons, discounts, maybe with like third parties and stuff. So I just think that's like just overall, I think that's exciting. Like then it becomes a destination, and it's almost like a place where you want to hang out, and you'll end up spending a lot of time. And we know that like the more time you spend on doing certain things and places and platforms, the more likely you're going to spend. You're going to become a customer as well. You'll buy products. You'll spend money as well. So, but I think the time and the engagement is like the prerequisite in some sense, right? Like you kind of need that before you can really start to monetize. So I think that's like a takeaway that I've learned through my career, launching platforms that got to scale, right? Got to millions of users, millions million of monthly active users, that kind of thing, lots of data. But at that time, we didn't really have the plethora, the profusion of open source AI tools that we have today. So like, if some of this was around, then that would have been really exciting. But that was always in my mind, and I always wanted to kind of like use AI to build like really delightful user experiences that were really customized and like personalized and like for you, right? So like, yeah, I think that's the cool thing is like, personalized shopping companion that learns what you love. Join our community of smart shoppers and unlock exclusive rewards. I mean, that's the goal, and let's see if we can make it happen. All right, thank you guys very much for checking out this video. Really encourage you to keep following this because I'm planning to launch this website officially, ShopBirdy.ai, in the coming maybe week or so. And yeah, let's see. Maybe we'll get some people who want to join somehow and become part of this this community. That'd be awesome. Okay, thanks guys. Talk to you later. Bye.